Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the OSU Roundup. Coming up, we've got a big show. We're going to talk to Kenny Gajewski. We're going to hear from Coach Dave Smith. We're going to hear from Chris Young, whose team is headed to the Sweet 16. A lot to get to, but we're going to start with Coach Holliday, the head coach of the Oklahoma State Cowboy baseball team, coming off a sweep of the number 4 team in the country in Corvallis, taking on Oregon State. You know, when you look at the weekend coming off the weekend prior, you know, I know you guys really wanted to get things turned around, and that's certainly what you did.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing that you saw on our team is to not allow a tough series in Lubbock hang around or allow us to dwell on the negative, rather turn it around and focus on what was in front of us, which was an opportunity to go to Corvallis and play a nationally ranked team, a top 5 team that is, on the road and make a statement about the kind of baseball we can play. And I compliment the kids and the coaches and everybody involved for not letting the wins and losses dictate the mood. You have to enjoy what you do. You have to be strong in your belief that you're doing the right things. And if that is indeed what you feel, then you should play with an aggression and a confidence. And the kids went up there and did just that. Very proud of the way that we responded to some adversity. And I think, as I told the kids Sunday after the game, rewind 1 week ago, and as you sat in left field in Lubbock, Texas, coming off of getting swept, now think about where you're at now, and never forget that you're never quite as good as people tell you you are, and you're probably never quite as bad as maybe you might think, but you're always somewhere in the middle within striking distance. So the kids learned a valuable lesson about competition and each other.
Well, you know, you sweep Texas. You had the issues, obviously, at Texas Tech, and then you come back. And again, that's what, you know, baseball is not about sweeping necessarily. Usually it's 2 out of 3 is a great weekend. But that's the thing with this team is they surely have proven to themselves now that if we stay the course, we've got something that could be really special right now.
Well, I think we played complete baseball in Corvallis. We did the same against University of Texas. The trip to Lubbock was a little bit up and down, but in all honesty, I compliment Texas Tech. I think they're just a very, very high-end team that if you lack any phase of the game against them, they'll find a way to exploit you, and they're playing awfully well right now. So I think, you know, when you look at your ball club, we pitched it well, we caught it good, and when we had to score late on Sunday, we did so in Corvallis. So just a very well-rounded team effort, a lot of people contributing, and we showed some instincts of what a good team does when you need to win a game.
And the Cowboys did go out and get it done. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the 3-game set. All 3 of them a gem of a pitching performance by Jensen Elliott on Friday night, and actually for the Oregon State pitching staff as well. Take a break, come back, we'll talk about that and more as we continue with the OSU Roundup. The OSU Roundup is brought to you by Bud Light, game day's favorite light lager. By the Visit StillwaterOK.org, Shop, Dine, and Stay partners. Be sure to shop, dine, and stay in America's friendliest college town. By Mercy Health, your life is our life's work. And by OG&E, power at the speed of life.
As the payoff pitch will be coming up to Cade Cabaness with 2 down. And here it is, breaking ball lined into center field, a base hit. Navigado scores, McCusker scores, 8-6 Cowboys in the 8th inning. A 3-2 breaking ball, and Cabaness not fooled by it.
Welcome back once again. Casey Kendrick along with the head coach for the Oklahoma State Cowboys, Coach Josh Holliday. And Coach, you know, I mentioned going into break a gem of a performance, really both teams. Outstanding pitching on Friday night.
Yeah, it was a classic Friday night game. Oregon State, I think, had one of the nation's top ERAs going into the series, so we knew we were facing a pitching staff that top to bottom was very good. We felt really good about Jensen heading out there in game 1, and boy, did he ever go out and put another excellent performance together. His ball was down in the strike zone. He pitched 7 extremely clean, efficient innings. Pitch count was right around that 110 pitch mark. We're sitting there in a tight ball game. We go to the bullpen. Peyton Battenfield came in behind Jensen. He was also razor sharp. Big RBI base hit by Alex Garcia late. We win 1-0 in what was a kind of a classic game, and really well played. High-paced game, and that the game was over. It was still light outside. That's rare on a Friday night that you walk away from a ball game and the sun's still out. But just a clean, well-played college baseball game. Our ace against theirs. Cowboys win 1-0. Very good baseball.
Well, you know, we've seen Jensen Elliott certainly going back to the, you know, a couple of weeks ago. He was pitching really well. It's good for him, obviously, to continue to see him get further into the game, pitch that well. at this time of year, because obviously those starts are going to be crucial.
No doubt. And, you know, it was a leadership start for us. I mean, he went out there and set the tone. And as the weekend played out, obviously his 7 strong to get us going proved to be key to allow us to keep guys fresh throughout the weekend.
Game 2, a 5-2 victory, Coach, and Parker started the game. Logan Gregg came in, got the win. Again, a game in which you guys, kind of went back and forth for just a little bit there, but took control of it and didn't let Oregon State on the board.
Well, there's some real bright spots in this ball game. I mean, I think Parker's start was gutty more than it was anything. Logan Gregg in the middle was tremendous, and I thought Brady Basso was maybe the difference maker. As Oregon State started to mount a rally late, he came out of that bullpen and struck out 2 guys with a rally there in the 8th inning, just blew them away, and that stopped it at 5-2. Funk and Navigato hit homers early in the game to give us a lead. We were pretty competitive on offense, and then once again Peyton Battenfield comes in to close it out. So a lot of guys doing good things on the mound. Gregg and Basso in particular really stand out for me. Some big swings of the bat, and now you're up 2-0 heading into Sunday.
Yeah, and Funk real quickly homered, had the sac fly and the single, 3 RBIs, and a really good day for him at the plate.
Yeah, Christian has had some series this year where he's been awfully steady, and this weekend up in Corvallis, a lot of good at-bats, very competitive, taking a number of tough pitches and fouling them off, putting some tough pitches in play, and as you said, putting the ball in play and knocking in runs.
The easy to get satisfied when you've won 2 out of 3, but you guys didn't do that. Back and forth, and again, the resiliency to pull it off and get the win.
One of the best wins I've had a chance to sit there suited up and be a part of, just because of what you said. You could have been satisfied. The kids were not. You get up early, they make a run back at you as you would expect. You got to remember, we're playing a team defending national champions in front of 3 sold-out crowds in their home ballpark. This is not a group of athletes or coaches that are going to go down easily. They make a run, they jump out in front of us. Jake Lyons out of the bullpen held the game in check and gave us a chance. Trevor Boone runs one out of the yard to straightaway center field. I mean, it was a big boy home run. That ties the game, and now all of a sudden the energy in our team returned, because after being down 3, that one swing of the bat, you're right back to even. And then what a clutch swing by Cade Cabanas. He'd struck out his previous 3 at-bats. Tremendous growth in that young man to put those strikeouts behind him. He's up with the bases loaded. He's got the 3-2 count. Another breaking ball comes up, and instead of swinging through it as he did the at-bat before, he makes contact and gets a 2-out, 2 RBI, clutch hit. That was really the difference in the game, and then Leeper comes in out of the bullpen to give us a 2-inning save. So a lot of really positive things there across the group, but more than anything was just the things that we learned on this trip, the things that we learned about bouncing back and the mental toughness that can be developed if you tap back into those previous experiences. So I'm really proud of the group for what they put on display.
Bedlam coming up this weekend. Coach, appreciate it. Best of luck. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about Bedlam softball. We'll talk to Kenny Gajewski after the timeout.
Reaches, drives that one into the gap. Diving grab by Chelsea Alexander. More spectacular defensive work by the Cowgirl outfield.
Welcome back, and we're talking now to the head coach of the Oklahoma State Cowgirls softball team, Kenny Gajewski. The regular season is over. It's on to postseason now. The Big 12 coming up in Oklahoma City this weekend. And, Coach, let's backtrack a little bit. We have been talking about the excitement of Bedlam and going into it, how incredibly fever-pitched it was. Obviously, down there, record crowd. You guys have brought Bedlam back. Come to Stillwater, a doubleheader, incredible crowds. I know the weekend didn't go as well as you wanted ultimately with the results, but the feel of Bedlam in softball is just, it's at a whole new level.
Yeah, I think it's at a point where it's never been. Honestly, I don't know what it was like way back when, but I know that having 2 teams in the top 12, having the type of crowds that we had in Norman and then that we returned and had in Stillwater, and adding a game or changing game times and still having record crowds at our place. Coach Gasso and I talked about that at home plate. What an amazing feat this has been. And she told me, she goes, "You guys need some more seats." And I'm like, yeah, I know. So it's good stuff. It's a credit to what they've done, because they're kind of the pinnacle the last 15 years of what you want your softball program to look like. how you want it to perform. We're chasing that. We're getting closer each year. Close kind of stinks, to be honest, but I can see the progress. It doesn't feel great right now, but we finished second in the conference now, the third year in a row. Had a chance to win the conference each year, and that's what I told our team. We just got to keep moving the needle each year, and we're doing that.
Well, and you guys have used this analogy of the hammer and the nail a lot, and obviously you have been the hammer almost all season long. First series you have not finished. The hammer is not broken. The hammer just needs to get swinging again, and it starts this weekend.
Yeah, and being the nail hurts. I don't like it, and unfortunately that's the way it turned out. But we get a chance. That's the great thing about the baseball and the softball game. We play a ton of games. We get a chance to get right back out on Friday at 11 a.m. and play a great Texas team, and then play a really good Iowa State team in our conference tournament, and then see where that takes us. So I'm excited. Like I said, nothing has changed. I'm a little, anytime you get beat at home in front of our fans, record crowds, I heard for our seniors, I heard for our fans that just want nothing more for us to perform well, and so we'll get back out there. Like I tweeted out, we're going to make you proud. We're going to get right back to work when finals are done here, and get back on track.
Senior Day was special from a standpoint of getting to say goodbye to those seniors in the regular season. Obviously, some record-breaking days, certainly with Shal and the home runs. But hopefully we're not done in the Cowgirl Complex, right? Hopefully we're coming back for another.
Yeah, I think we've got a legitimate chance to host. We've still got that chance. It's in front of us. I don't think that these OU games are going to hurt us. We just got to get back out and win.
Absolutely. It starts this weekend for the Cowgirls on Friday, 11 o'clock, taking on Texas, 5 o'clock, taking on Iowa State. Coach, appreciate it. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Hey, we need to take a break. When we come back, track and field has been really good as they move into postseason. We'll start to talk about that and more. We got Dave Smith coming up after the break. Welcome back to the show. We've been talking some baseball and softball. It is time to talk a little track and field. The Oklahoma State Cowboys and Cowgirls getting ready for the Big 12s. The head coach for both the men's and the women's side is Coach Dave Smith, and we got a chance to catch up with him.
Well, I thought we had some brilliant individual performances throughout the year. Like you said, 11 school records is always a good thing, and I think we had them across event areas in the jumps, throws, multi-events, sprints, distance runners. We had it kind of across the board in our whole program, and that's always a good sign of a healthy program. Ryan Smeaton, who just set the NCAA mark last week, is still leading the NCAA. We'll go probably into the national meet with the leading time, I'm assuming, based on how fast he ran and kind of where we are in the year. So big for him. It's been a really great year. He's taken 27 seconds off of his time, which in an 8.5-minute race, 27 seconds is a lot. So it's just a testament to how hard he's worked and the development. And then Sinclair Johnson, the 1500, she is now third, but at the time had set an NCAA leading mark, and I think is one of the favorites to win the NCAA. She's shown, basically starting this time last year, for the last year, she's been very, very good on top of her game. I think taking the NCAA leading mark shows that she's ready to do the same thing Ryan's doing and kind of cement herself as one of the favorites in the NCAA. Well, again, here's a guy who came to a place that didn't have a lot of recent success in the jumps, and he bonded with Coach Pustiana, and they believed in her and came here and took a chance, and has been brilliant for our program. He's won conference championships, he's been All-American, he's been a great leader. I think he's got a great attitude. He's into our entire team. He wants to see everybody do well, and he's constantly trying to find ways to make us better. So it's going to be hard to see him go. I think every time someone like that leaves, you think, man, we'll never have another guy like this again. And that's kind of the way I feel about Jacob right now. Hopefully that's not the case. We usually try to find someone later, but right now I think he's going to be a really, really hard guy to replace. We've got athletes that are going to be competing for national championships. And so I hope we get through this meet with a good performance, with athletes getting out and competing well, and then getting on to the national meet where I think we can do something really special.
The Cowboys and the Cowgirls both had some record-setting events this season. It has been a really good year. Best of luck to Dave Smith and the crew. The Oklahoma State Cowgirl women's tennis team, they are in postseason, and they're headed to the Sweet 16. We have the head coach, Chris Young, coming up on set right after this. Well, we close out the show this week talking about tennis, women's tennis in particular, and the Oklahoma State Cowgirls have advanced to the Sweet 16 yet again. Chris Young joins us now, and Coach, what an eventful weekend this last weekend at the Greenwood Tennis Center, and it started with a good Central Arkansas team that really forced you guys to go out there and play well.
Yeah, most people said this was the toughest regional men's or women's side of the 32 regions, 16 men's, 16 women's. The numbers showed it was the toughest one in Central Arkansas at the beginning, gave us a great test, a great battle. I thought they were really well coached and executed their doubles, especially at a very high level. And so it was a entertaining weekend for the fans all the way around. Highly competitive matches. The Washington State-Miami match went 4-3. Ours with Miami in the second round did as well. So very competitive regional that lived up to the billing of being one of the best in the country.
Well, and you look at it, you knew that your match was going to be good. You knew the other matches you just alluded to was going to be good with Washington State and Miami. And obviously tremendous crowds again. People wanted to be able to see you guys Friday night and certainly on Saturday.
Yeah, our crowd was tremendous. They played a big role all weekend long in more ways than one. And so it was exciting for our crowd to be involved. And that's what we're trying to do here, is not only have success as a program, but to grow the sport, to grow a fan base here. And, you know, the Oklahoma State faithful support all the sports around here in a positive way. And that's what I told people after the match, is from a recruiting standpoint, this is great for us, because people get to see our fan base, you know, up close and personal with how much they support our team. And that's really kind of what we've been known for the last few years. And credit to the Oklahoma State faithful for helping us out.
Well, just a little prelude to what's to come next year when you guys host the NCAA championships. Let's talk about the Miami match. Obviously, this is a very good team coming in here. You knew it was going to be a tight match, and you guys won a very tight doubles point.
Yeah, we did. We were up 5-3 across the board on all three doubles. We're able to close out number one 6-4, had a match point at number two doubles, didn't execute there, and so started falling behind in that match, and we knew it was going to come down into maybe number three, and sure enough it did. We won a tiebreaker with Tamara Arnold and Bunyabi Tumchaiwat coming through for us at number three doubles, and that turned out to be a pivotal point. Obviously with momentum, we talk about doubles all the time, the momentum that it gets, but then you just got to split the three singles, and each team came out and won the first set on three courts. So for us, we just needed to make sure that we closed those three matches out, and that became our focus.
Real quickly, you know, when you look at it, you mentioned the doubles and how tight it was. I mean, that that tiebreak was so huge, obviously. But then Bunyabi came out, and she was able to get a 6-love, immediately gives you another point. That had to really start momentum in your direction.
Yeah, definitely. We were able to capitalize on the momentum of getting that doubles point. She came out and won 6-0, 6-0, and really about seemed like 30 minutes. It's probably more like 45 minutes, but most of our girls were still in their first set or just closing out their first set, and they look up and it's 2-0. And that's something I challenged her after she won the very first set, 6-0. Look, stay focused here. Don't get bored with this. Stay focused on your court and get that second point up on the board. And now all of a sudden Miami realizes they're not just down 1-0, they're down 2-0. They've got to win 4 of the last 5 matches on. I think it made a difference for those girls that are trying to close out their first sets.
Super regional format, now North Carolina, a team you faced already this year, but this is a different team in Oklahoma State than it was earlier in the year.
Yeah, we played the match without Sofia Blanco, one of our seniors. The Miami match came down to our 2 seniors, Sofia and Marina, winning the last 2 matches on. So we feel good about those girls, and to have Sofia in the lineup now changes the dynamic, although there are some matchups that are going to be similar. It's the first time we've done a super regional in college tennis, and so for us this will be a new experience, and it'll be tough playing North Carolina at their place, but we look forward to it.
Best luck against North Carolina.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Hey, we want to say thanks to Coach Holliday, Coach Gajewski, Coach Dave Smith as well, and of course Chris Young. And as we leave you this week, we leave you with some highlights from the Greenwood Tennis Center. See you next week. The OSU Roundup is brought to you by Bud Light, game day's favorite light lager. By the Visit StillwaterOK.org, Shop, Dine, and Stay partners. Be sure to shop, dine, and stay in America's friendliest college town. By Mercy Health, your life is our life's work. And by OG&E, power at the speed of life.